And welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Fantastic Exchange. Guys, I can't tell you how excited I am to speak with none other than Aubrey Scheppske. Guys, Aubrey is an incredible person. I've been following her on LinkedIn. She shares some incredible inspirational posts, and that's what kind of caught my attention. And I'm like, man, I want to reach out to Aubrey because she's got some great stuff. And so, wow, here I am today. I get to talk to and you get to hear from Aubrey Scheppske. Guys, y'all give it up for Aubrey. Can you hear him, Aubrey? We're all clapping for you. That's pretty exciting. Hey, Aubrey, I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and share with us what you do.
Well, I don't know how I can come after that intro. Thank you so much for that. It's an honor to obviously be able to work with you and have this great conversation. As you said, I'm Aubrey Scheppske, and I work for Gordon Feinblatt right now as the office administrator on the HR team. My history is about 20 years in human resources and recruiting. So I'm just really happy to be here and, speak to you and just talk about a little bit about me.
That's awesome. That's great. So you've been in recruiting industry for 20 years. That is amazing. So I imagine you have spoken to thousands and thousands of people in your career, huh?
Yes, I've had some really great conversations and met some really interesting people virtually, as well as in person, and developed some really great relationships.
I bet so. And imagine the stories you have heard that you could share. We won't get into that because confidentiality. We don't want to break any of that confidentiality. But I did ask you because you inspired me with your post on LinkedIn. I was so intrigued with you. I was like, all right, Aubrey, she's got so much inspiration. I need to know what inspires Aubrey. And so I reached out, and you and I kind of chatted before and talked about 3 things that inspire you. And so I want to talk about those things. And the first one that you shared was the people that you currently and used to work with. So I'm curious. So tell me about, why do these people you work with, or the people that you previously worked with, how did they inspire you?
So I'll start with the past first, because that's always a good place to go, because I have some really great memories. I've had a lot of great mentors throughout my career in many different industries within working in HR and recruiting. And they have taught me a lot of things about, being human, being someone who is a good leader, and also just giving me the, grace to make mistakes. So they have really inspired me. I also have worked with some really great teammates that just make you happy to come into work. Speaking about currently, I'm on the HR team, but we're all a team of about 130, basically. HR team is a team of 5 right now, and they're just really inspiring. They always lift you up if you're having a little bit of a rough day. They're always cheering on. Our supervisor, who doesn't even like to be called a supervisor, is amazing. Just a really great person to emulate and to lead you without even trying. She's just a good person, and she also has never forgotten where she came from. So she is always in touch with everyone and treats everyone with respect. And it's just always sharing information with us, because it helps to have the why or the background information. And I found that that's where a lot of, it's called success, but a lot of success comes from having that background information. For situations that do come up and you're like, oh, now I know how to do that. Okay. So I would say the teams that I've worked with and the mentors have really made it great for me.
Yeah, I love that. And a couple of words that I picked up on while you were talking through that is, just treating people as a human. I mean, I think that's it's so simple, but it's profound in its application, because a lot of times as leaders, the people that work for us, if you will, they, you can lose that humanity, and they become, that person that you just, hey, go check this checkbox on this checklist and get things done. They become kind of task handlers. But I love how you shared where, some of your mentors and previous supervisors recognize that humanity of that person that, is a part of the team. And I think that's so powerful.
It is something that our current supervisor, who's really calls himself a teammate, says is we have to meet people where they are, and I couldn't agree more because it does change. It does change from family situations, personal situations, work situations, and 1,000 other things that come up, and that just has always really stuck with me since I've been working here almost 2 years, and so I try to meet the people where they are and understand that each person's situation is different and being respectful no matter what's going on. Because some people just really need to vent. So I have a lot of inspiration from the people that I work with.
That's great. And that just kind of leads to, giving grace. That was another point that you shared that I really love. And then, your current leader or supervisor, you kind of mentioned it, but then you immediately said, well, they don't like to be called that. And it's just kind of a seamless, group of people that are inspired by this person that happens to be the supervisor, but you're all inspired together to do these things that need to be done. What a great perspective and what a blessing to be able to be in that situation that, it's more of a team than a work environment, so to speak.
Yes, it's a nice way to take your position to the next level because it's not task oriented here. It's very much people oriented, and we do have a family. We all understand have a business to run. But honestly, if you don't take care of your people, they can't take care of your clients and your residents or your customers. So we really put that into play as much as we possibly can. And it starts with her. She does that for us. So then we do it for the team that we support. So we're very, very lucky.
That is so great. And then I imagine it creates an environment where the team wants to do it, not because they have to, but because they want to. And that once you get to that level, which I imagine your group, your team is at, that creates such another level of success because that everyone on that team wants to do it, not because they have to, but because they want to. Would you share that's kind of like where you guys are at?
Absolutely. We are tagging in for each other left and right, always trying to help out wherever we can. And I think that you hit the nail on the head, I guess. It starts with her, but it just takes us all to a whole other level, especially in our careers, but also our personal lives, because when you don't have that structure of, leaders who end up just managing and micromanaging, when you don't have to worry about that stuff, everything else can kind of, fill the gaps where you need it to. Whereas if you're also dealing with that issue, it's hard. So yeah. I'm very lucky. Our team is very, very lucky.
That's awesome. And I imagine we could do a whole nother session or a conversation on that alone, but we're going to save that. Maybe you and I will connect again and we'll talk through that. But you mentioned when you have a really good, work life, it impacts your personal life. And one of the inspirations that you shared was your family. And I love one of the things that you shared with me is they keep you on your toes every day. So tell me how your family inspires you.
So it starts with my mom. She has been my lifelong cheerleader, always supportive, always being there at every, basketball game, softball game, every award ceremony, recital. And she's super excited to hear about this. So she will be probably the first one to do this because she just can't wait. But she has just been someone who works through everything and magically makes things happen that you're just not sure how. And she just always knows like a step ahead. So she's always thinking further ahead. And you're like, oh, that is a really good idea. So I couldn't say enough about her. She can have 3 episodes. I have an amazing fiance who is a teacher, and the purpose of sharing that is because he has taught me a whole new level of patience. Because sometimes, especially with myself, I can be impatient or too critical, just because I want to be my best cheerleader, but also sometimes I work enemy so that I do my best. And he really brings me back to reality and allows me to take it to a good place. And then I have so many, I couldn't even tell you the number of between godchildren and nephews. And I think at least most people would agree no one can speak to me quite like a child. They speak right off the cuff and you're like, okay, yeah, you're right. That's a good thought. But they've also, I think, taught something that I really, they have like unconditional love and just listen so intently to what you say and they take it in and soak it in. And then they actually put that into play in their own lives. And when my 13-year-old goddaughter asked me about, you know, some situations and she wanted my advice, I'm like, wow, like that's an inspiration. Okay, I gotta get this right. And
Oh, yeah.
just tell her what I think and let her take it from there. You can shape lives no matter what the age. And when you have a leadership role or even not necessarily a leadership role, you can shape lives just with one simple comment or one simple interaction. And I just want that always to be as positive as I can, no matter how imperfect I am and how many flaws or things happen. I really just try to put that versus trying to make that interaction as positive as I possibly can.
Yeah. Oh my God. Aubrey, I
Sorry,
love what
Scott.
you, no, man, Aubrey, I love what you shared there where, you know, your words can shape someone's lives or someone's outcome. I think that is, and you want to keep it as positive as possible, no matter, you know, kind of what the scenario may be. I think that is so powerful that you recognize that. Wow, that's something I'm writing down, and that's a powerful quote. That won't make the sneak peek quote. So, you know, another thing that I love that you recognized, you shared your mom was a big inspiration for you. Where your mom is able, and you recognize that your mom's able to think ahead and see kind of like how things will play out. I think that's what a skill to have. Yeah.
She's she's amazing. So I literally could talk about her for days. She's just awesome and super intelligent and just a probably one of the best humans. So if I was going to look for something to do for my team or to, help someone, I mean, she would give the last $5 in your pocket if somebody needed it. That's just the kind of person she is. So if I turn out to be half the person she is, I will consider myself a good success.
Way to go, mom. You are
Right?
fantastic. I may have to interview your mom next.
Yeah.
Hey, Aubrey, so I want to get into this. This is the kind of the last point that you had shared with me about, you know, the things that inspire you. And I can't tell you how intrigued I am, and I want you to kind of talk through this a little bit. And so I asked you, okay, you know, Aubrey, what are some things that inspire you? And you shared situations and incidents, which, you know, I understand. And then you added, you know, it's a balance. This is so neat. There's a balance between mind skills and heart skills to handle these things. Please, I want you to speak up because this, I believe, is absolutely intriguing. So please share with us what you mean by that.
Happy to. So, in my experience, I'm homegrown HR. I didn't go to school for it, or go through any programs for it. So I have had to find a balance, and it's never 50-50, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, depending on the situation, where you have to use the mind skills of one, obviously staying within the laws and with policies and procedures, and liabilities and things like that. But also something that HR gets to do is they get to use their heart because I may have to let someone go, or I may have to, unfortunately do a layoff, or I may have to have a hard conversation. But the way that I portray it is extremely important. And that's where my heart comes into play. My mind skills are still going in there, but my heart comes into it because I want to be respectful. I want it to be received in the way they need to receive it because each person receives things differently. It also goes into my personal life when I'm making decisions. I'm using my mind, like I can actually, it's okay, or what's the impact 6 steps down the road if I make this decision? But then I'm also like, okay, I got to use my heart on this too, and make sure that I'm doing something that's going to make, bring my heart joy, or it's going to fulfill a passion, or it's going to get me closer to a goal, or honestly help someone else get closer to a goal. There are tons of times I will do something I am not comfortable with, I don't want to do. I told you, like, I'm not good at this speaking thing, but I think that being able to interact with someone like you, as well as if anyone else struggles with things that I also struggle with, sometimes seeing them speak like, okay, I can do this too. And if it impacts just one person, even in the slightest way, I'm like, that is success. That's all I need. One person left in this universe in a happy way, or, not necessarily seriously leaving the universe, but, just I have to use both. I don't want to say I could never probably think of a situation where I wouldn't use both.
Wow. I love that, Aubrey. Thank you so much for kind of expanding on that. But I truly believe, I feel you've got that balance where, you can use the analytical side of, mind skills, making those decisions, and you are able to connect to that heart skill so that you're still, like you had mentioned earlier, that person's still a human, and you're given grace, and you're still kind of communicating that thing, whatever it needs to be communicated, with those two components mixed. I think that's a skill in of itself, and that is so inspiring that you're able to recognize that. And then the last point I want to pick up is from what you said is, if you inspire one person, if you encourage that one person through the things that you do, then it's a success, it's a win. And I love how you recognize that as something that is successful, because a lot of people just want to, change the world, which is, great. There's some people that will do that. But I think it also takes the people that recognize, if there's one person that you can encourage or inspire, and then they take it forward and, inspire another person, then that is a success as well. And Aubrey, I believe your conversation and what you've shared with us today will inspire that one person, and I believe many, many more, because you've got so many incredible things that inspire you that I believe will encourage other people as well. And I can't thank you enough, Aubrey. We're getting kind of close to the end of our time. And so I want to thank you so much for all that you've shared with us, your inspiration, because it's inspired me as well. So thank you so much. And I want to give you, Aubrey, an opportunity to close us out with a final thought. What would you like to share with us?
I think I'll touch just real quick on what you mentioned about my third point about the incident. I think that things that sometimes happen to us can get us down, but I can just say from at least my experience, those instances or incidents or issues or events have inspired me to look at the bigger picture, see what may have happened, and have helped me develop skills to help others in the future. Obviously, I want to sound upon what, there have been some horrible things that unfortunately have happened, but it, I swear, has made me a better person to support others in the future in different instances that you not necessarily learn from a class. So I would just leave it as sometimes those instances that are pretty hard for you to get through honestly end up giving you the skills to help in the future, or the knowledge to help others in the future. And that's just me.
That's awesome. That is so brilliant. I think that is a wonderful closing thought. Life teaches us some incredible lessons that we're able to use to help us and to help others as well. So Aubrey, you're amazing. I can't thank you enough for sharing with us. You are wonderful. So guys, I want to thank you guys so much for jumping on and watching another episode of the Super Fantastic Exchange. Make sure you go follow Aubrey Scheppske on LinkedIn. She's got some incredible inspirational posts. You'll just continue to be inspired by Aubrey. And Aubrey, I can't thank you enough again for being a part of the Super Fantastic Exchange. We will thank you so much. We'll see you next time on another episode of the Super Fantastic Exchange. We'll see y'all.